welcome to today's panel. This is my first time doing moderation, so forgive me if I'm not professional. So I wrote this like a long question list. I'm not sure if we're gonna stick with it, but yeah, let's see. So can you guys briefly introduce yourself and your projects, especially on some, all of you guys are building L2s, but with different concentrations. Can you just please tell us some updates on your what your guys are working on recently and stuff. Anything you want to share with us. Starting from Victor.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Victor, co-founder of Manta Network. Basically, we are the first and right now still the only generic rollup using Celestia DA. So we call it Moderator L2, and we really focus on kind of adoption, and we really care about the users. There's two directions we are recently working on. One is institutional adoption. We work with BlackRock and work with Binance, Sifu, launch some institution product. On the other hand, we have a lot of DK application use cases. There's a dating app built on top of Manta. It's a social app. Actually got grant from Musk. And there's other kind of gaming and some random memes happens on Manta. But generally we are focused on culture building recently.
Yeah, hi everyone. Talking too much. Hi everyone, I'm Harvey from RSS3. RSS3 is the open information layer, and we structure and index high quality data from open protocols and provided them in a standardized format so developers can build their applications. Some famous application built using our data includes Musk's Firefly and several other DeFi projects as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ye. I'm co-founder of Scroll. So Scroll is a general purpose ZK layer 2 solution. Among all the layer 2, especially among ZK, we are the most EVM compatible ZK-based layer 2 general purpose, and it has been on mainnet for around 1 year. And I think for recent updates, what we are working on is that on the technical side, we are working on improving the mentioned performance and trying to reduce the gas fee for another order of magnitude. We are working on a lot of stuff and trying to. So one of our core focus is not just performance, it's also security and finality. So far, among all the different layer 2s, we are the layer 2 with the shortest finality. So basically it means you can withdraw money at any time, and if you deploy any applications, and then any other, you can basically access that anywhere really quickly with really short finality. And on the ecosystem side, we are right now doing a lot of a lot of initiatives, starting with sessions and marks with a lot of ecosystem projects. So you can check out our session webpage around our ecosystem development, and it's progressing really well. And soon, I think the next step from our technical roadmap is that we will also explore how to generalize our tech stack to support this multi-chain future, and what are the core services we can build to serve for this multi-chain purpose. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. And so let's just start with the questions. Social is not just social media, it's everywhere. It's embedded in all different kinds of human activities. We can see social in NFT and DeFi, in GameFi, any blockchain applications you can think of. And what do you guys think about social itself? So how do you think about this kind of definition? And how do you think your project can help with building a better environment for these social needs in different applications?
Yeah, I mean, I feel I'm a city person. I mean, there's definitely a lot of social events, online, offline, and I'm really bullish on actually specifically in social media. I'm really bullish on dating app. I mean, I feel there's extremely huge demand, and there's also have a kind of money flow in the dating app nature. So you definitely need like a kind of incentive within the application. So that's the area I'm really bullish on. But in general, I feel SocialFi, like with the token, with all of this, it still haven't taken off yet. It still need a really long-term, polish great product, find product market fit, and try to get enough DAU, make it sustainable, and keep high-quality user, and maybe build a Web2 like dApps, which is extremely hard, but I see there's chance.
Yeah, for social, I think there is a social element in every application. For example, Pump.fun has this real-time chat room, and what else? Friend.tag has social elements embedded, and at the end of the day, it's us humans interacting with humans. It's not like you're a large language model interacting with another one. And so there's definitely value in social and in the activities you were generated on different platforms. And when it comes to Web3, I think the value here is the data is yours, it's always yours. You can take it. We call it platformless social media because you can actually take your data anywhere. If you're not happy with, let's say, this platform, you can just easily migrate to others. And so that's the value of social to me. And from RSS3's points of RSS3 perspective, this enables a lot of applications that was previously not possible to be built, because now we essentially have open access to those data, those open data, and you can use that to do, let's say, train your own large language model, train your own agent, and do some things on your behalf. So that's the future of open access to open social and social activities.
Yeah, so social for me, I think, my very superficial understanding, there are two types of social, right, which I think is quite interesting. One is a social within Web3 space, right? Like you are already a DGen user, you are a DeFi user, you are like a crypto user, and you hold certain NFT, and you want to kind of socialize among this kind of core circle, kind of either show off your NFT or doing something like that. So this part is serving for on-chain existing user with some on-chain identity. And the other type of social, which is also quite interesting, is how you kind of integrate with Web2 model of social, and how you kind of use social to bring even more people on-chain, instead of just focusing on existing social circle. And for that purpose, I think we definitely need more scalable infrastructure, which is what we have been building, and trying to scale to even more people, because you don't want to tweet one, you tweet and then it costs you some money to kind of even sending this tweet. And also you need to massively improve your login, and the way you log in is that you don't want people to remember your seed phrase and like doing something like that. So I think those two are pretty interesting. The first one, I think a lot of applications have already been exploring, but I think for that purpose, what's missing I think is that maybe some people don't want to, some people still want some privacy because you want all your data is exposed on chain, and then you still maybe want to get some privacy from that. And secondly, that I think they are still needing scalability, one thing, and better UX to log in, another thing. I think third thing as a infra, what we can do is that trying to kind of gather all the ecosystem project and then trying to kind of build some network effect among all of them. Because for example, Mask or some other social apps are within Scroll ecosystem, and how can we kind of introduce them to different DeFi or other ecosystem partner to trying to see their kind of synergy and coordination, and trying to build a network effect that you can one login to use all type of applications. So I think this type of thing is also missing in terms of ecosystem development. So I think this is also something interesting besides just pure tech side.
Thank you so much. And then I think we can just dive deeper into these conversations later. So I have some separate questions to all of you guys, each one of you, and then I would just start from Victor then. So Manta Pacific just released, and then you guys have an ecosystem, and then focusing on hosting various ZK applications, including I saw a Dandy, social, game, a DeFi, and etc. Can you tell us about what kind of toolkits and then infrastructure that's provided by you guys makes it easier to deploy and use ZK in those applications? And what novel experiences made possible with the help of ZK? You can probably talk about the dating app, or the text totem, or something like that.
Thank you. So I think we are still in the phase, to be honest, find the product market fit for the ZK applications. I find that it's actually really hard because it's using it's basically build a tech stack and use this tech stack to find the product market fit, rather than find product market fit and then build some tech stack. It actually now makes sense to build a tech stack first, but it's something there already, so we don't have choice. But in general, before we've been building a lot of toolkits for hiding information, especially for social fi and gaming. For example, Yes said, there's a privacy need in the social media, basically for dating app. This kind of application can make people show off how rich you are without disclose your address, but you can verify basically these guys have more than 1,000 Ethereum or 100 Bitcoin, something like that. It's kind of a way to show off, but it can show on your profile when you want to match with others, but you don't have to share your address. But this is through something called ZKSBT. We build a toolkit, basically enable devs, they don't need to basically write the whole ZK circuit, but they just using contract, using SDK to build this kind of use case. And also for the on-chain game, it's the same. There's a ZK Hold'em, you can just play the game, and it's 100% fair and transparent, because all these shuffling card and distribute card is through ZK, and it's all hidden, but it's all fully decentralized random number. That's kind of the use cases, but I think I'm really general bullish on the use case, really able to have sustainable DAU. That is really, really hard, but this should be the way. If there's no incentive even on token, there should be still have kind of demand for the dApp and the sustainable DAU. That is something we are looking for, but it's still haven't figured out yet.
Thank you. So for Henry, you have a really novel structure of two sublayers in your network. One is data sublayer and the one is value sublayer. Can you just talk about them in specific? Just tell us what they are in specific, and how are they connected to each other? And we just want to know how it works. And what type of data are you indexing onto this network? And then what vision do you have on the potential applications over all the data you have on these networks for the users, not just for the users, but also for developers, anyone who wants to use this network?
Yeah, so RSS3 network is a fully decentralized network, consists of two sublayers. First one being value sublayer is OP stack layer 2 using near as its DA, and the purpose of this layer 2 is to speed up microtransactions and lower the cost of those transactions, because we're expecting a lot of microtransactions, and it doesn't make sense for the user to pay even just 1 cent for just sending one transaction. And the second purpose is that we can basically combine this layer 2 with an off-chain computing layer. We call that data sublayer. Last time I checked, we have over 80 nodes operated by someone else we don't know, and including one by Google's Web3 team. Those nodes, they are constantly indexing and cleaning and storing data from different protocols, including Farcaster and various different blockchains. And the problem of those blockchain or smart contracts on those blockchains is that they all have a different event format. So each contract emits events in different formats. But that makes the development process for developers extremely difficult, because essentially you're looking at, hey, I'm going to build a Firefly, I'm going to integrate with 6 or even 7 or even more social dApps. And how am I going to do that? I have to look into each of them and analyze their contract and analyze the structure of the events emitted. And but through RSS3, you only need to interact with our dataset layer, because everything output from the values of our dataset layer is in one consistent format. So it makes the dev's life a lot easier. As an engineer myself, previously I was working with the National Healthcare Service in the UK. So the situation is each hospital stores their data in different formats, and I was working on a distributed federated machine learning platform for the NHS. And I was like, oh, there's no way this is going to work, because each hospital, literally each hospital, is using their own specific format to store the data, even though it's all about, let's say, diabetes. But we are looking at over 2,000 different formats. There is no way anyone can build an application in a short time with, the amount of budget we were given. So I thought, data standardization is a key, even when it comes to Web3. Because from my point of view, we don't have to differentiate where the data is coming from, whether it's coming from Twitter or it's coming from Flycaster. They are just social activities generated by users. You don't have to differentiate them, especially when now we are in the age of AI model trainings. The models, machine learning algorithms, they don't care if the data is Web3 or not. All they care about is the quality of the data. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I think I can just comment in the very end. I just want to move this forward then. So for you guys just released a Curie upgrade just like a week ago, and then that reduces the gas fee. Do you think like the low transaction fee is essential or the key for enabling more social applications to be built on Scroll? And what other features are you guys preparing, like zero gas transaction, or like a smart wallet infrastructure, like a key store or something else that's like helping bringing more social applications onto Scroll?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think for social applications specifically, like low fee definitely like super important, and being scalable is super important, because you need a lot of like real DAU to kind of form transaction on daily basis. I think what's interesting, so firstly on the technical roadmap, we'll keep pushing for the performance to some extent to kind of be 10 times cheaper and even more cheaper. But another focus, actually, we are making a trade-off of when we lower our fees to a certain percent, we will kind of end this kind of zero-sum game, because there will always be new layer 2s and new kind of chains coming into with kind of cheaper block space, because it's not super crowded. And even if you look at base, right, optimism, either in the peak period of time is even more expensive than ZK, because the congestion fee becomes the majority of where your fees come from. I think for us, I think we are considering moving to a new value proposition, which is that we become the kind of most high secure with high finality chain, so that the state on Scroll is quite different from those layer 2s that is being commoditized. You can consider there can be 100 different chain, 1,000 different chain with very cheap block space. They can do distribution, they can some for gaming, some for social. But I think what we are aiming for right now is that how can we make the state on Scroll being accessible by other layer 2. We are doing this with starting by a special precompile called layer 1 float, so that precompile can basically allow you any layer 2 to access Scroll state. So imagine, and this can only happen on Scroll because the reason that, so imagine OP or any ZK other ZK chains right now, even for ZK Sync and Linear, their finality time takes 8 hours to 24 hours. It doesn't really matter for a normal user because you don't really withdraw that frequently. But it's actually very important for some applications, like for example social ENS or this type of application, because you need to finalize, and then other chain can access your finalized state because it's arbitrary state rate. And then we can make the state on Scroll be more valuable than even other chains. So what I'm thinking is that eventually, right now, I think it's fine to kind of put more social application on Scroll, but eventually when they move to their own chain, their own application, they can put the most important state on Scroll, and then having the accessibility to Scroll, and then but they can do distribution on some other even cheaper chains and those type of things. And another technical direction that you mentioned, like the direct guest feed and key store is some ongoing research we have been working on. And the idea behind key store is that how can we again like put keys and the most important key management process on scroll, and then other chains can kind of access the keys through scroll, and then you can keep all your kind of like imagine you have 1,000 different chain, you can reuse the same key, the same account access across all the different chains. That's we have been working this also with Safe. Right now, like Safe, you can already do one really cool thing that you deploy multi-sig on layer 1, and any layer 2 can directly synchronize from layer 1 for this information. Eventually, this will happen to scroll and then synchronize across all the different layer 2s. So I think this is something like super interesting we are working on. And for the zero gas fee, we are working on some design, which haven't released, but I think we will have some blog posts and technical posts about that very soon.
Sure. I think one important feature like everybody talks about is like it gives you like a better toolkit for developers to build more interoperable applications across different chains. Because we cannot just have only one chain at a time. We have like multiple different chains with different like concentrations for different features. And then it's really important to have like data available on all of these different chains, and then they just do their own work, and then just like synthesize together to build a better or like more open web or more open blockchain space. And let's just go to the next question. So do you guys think on-chain social network is a good idea? If so, what new applications are made possible and how? And then if not, what is the biggest drawback for building a social network on blockchain? Why it's not a good idea? And then what's the component or design are missing from EVM or from like different general like blockchain design that's essential for social purposes? So like let's talk about do you guys think it's a good idea or not? And then and also like talk about some components or something you want the most if you want to build like social applications on like blockchain. Is that clear?
Yeah, I can start. So I think for me like I think intuitively that we definitely need social on-chain, because as I mentioned, like two different categories. One, the category that on-chain degens need social, so you need that. And also like, from another Web2 perspective, you don't want like, when you send a tweet, you are censored being by certain parties, so you definitely need that. But I think like the things like missing, like as I mentioned, is definitely one thing, like the platform's performance. It's still very, very unlikely, like, you can, at our current like layer 2 scale, like we can support that many Web2 users really coming to work on social. Another thing, like still user experience. I think another interesting like project we are working on with ecosystem project is called ZK login. Basically, you can use any Web2 method to kind of log into your wallet, and then trying to use that and trying to kind of have some kind of infra support for this type of application to make this become easier for on-chain social to happen. I think that's something missing. And the third thing, like maybe specific to EVM, is that because EVM is really designed for performance, for social, so I think for some really high performance, like social, there can be social graph replication, all those stuff. Maybe it needs some specialized, engine or data structure, and in parallel, with this kind of like your Merkle potential tree, and that maybe can be something like part of your sequencer. I think that design space is quite interesting, and that's something like which can be maybe like can change how your virtual machine work and to customize for your social needs. I think that's not something interesting, but we haven't explored yet.
I think I have a different angle. It's how do we achieve mass adoption? Is basically we have all the platforms, we have all the protocols, and we have applications like Firefly, Farcaster, and users are already able to replace Twitter, Facebook, etc. with those applications. But why aren't they coming? I think the problem is with the usability as well, such as you need to spend gas to send out your posts. That doesn't make sense to normal Web2 users. And as a user, they don't really care about what underlying protocols they're interacting with. All they care about is, I can write stuff, I can interact with my friends, I can maintain my social networks, and that's it. If you're talking to them, hey, we are using ZK to protect your privacy, they will be like, are you nuts? They don't really care about it. So you need to provide a way for them to easily start using your application, starting by logins and eliminate gas fees and just hide, abstract away all the technicalities. And I think that's what's missing from this space right now.
I mean, I feel like, I'm still figuring out actually about this, but I'm always thinking like, why, pump.fun is start from Solana rather than start from all these, L2s. Why is not Manta or OPR fund, right? Because we just focus on TVL game. That's the problem, we lose chance to onboard this kind of great applications. So that's probably one of the really big issue. We try to how to improve the ecosystem growth, rather than just focus on TVL, but definitely will focus on how great builder find the great applications and really able to grow with them. That's kind of I think the next goal we are looking for. But it's still, there's a lot of challenge. I'm not sure, the technical, kind of barrier is kind of really big, because most of the time we don't need that kind of high TPS or that kind of different kind of toolings on the blockchain level, no matter layer 1 or layer 2, because a lot of things can be done by backend database or front-end work. I'm not talking about because lot of users, they don't care something fully decentralized right now, but it's about the user experience, and it's about the adoption, and the most important is about how to make the tokenomics and the social fight sustainable, which is really hard, or at least keep the incentive, reasonable incentive. That is something I've been thinking, and I've been researching a lot of products as well. I was thinking front tech is really good, but it's still a TVL game from my understanding. It's not something really crazy social use case, but and also fantasy. I've been also taking a look, but I don't think it's actually good product. At least front tech is really good product. But on the user experience side, fantasy, I'm really confused why that's really high. But there's still reason, and we are still figuring it out. But I think something going to be really interesting stuff coming on Manta, and looking forward to that as well. Yeah, I feel it's more culture stuff and related to definitely social, but I won't make people fun, enjoy the product rather than just talk about TVL.
Thank you guys. So my next question is so yeah, we're gonna cover a lot of things on here. So next thing is privacy, because I think just mentioned privacy. And how do you think about privacy on blockchain? Since everything just stored there and then recorded, and they're all technically they're all transparent and permanent. In one hand, it's dangerous to have for malicious parties doing social engineering on top of that. But on the other hand, it enables your social capital to be tokenized on blockchains. How do you value privacy, and what would you do with it? And yeah, just on a blockchain perspective.
Yeah. So to me, privacy is an important feature. I think eventually, if they really want massive adoption, you will definitely want privacy, because you don't want anyone knowing your social account to know your on-chain behavior, how much money you have. I think one thing we are working on is And again, it's still key store which not only allowing multi-chain using one key to manage different accounts, but also another interesting stuff is that imagine you put keys somewhere, but you hold your asset in a different place, and then you use a ZK proof to prove that you can spend this kind of money in this kind of smart contract. So you break the link between your identity and the way you spend your money. So I think this way, you can break the account and your kind of your on-chain behavior, and that kind of you break the social graph from there. So I think that's something interesting. And second is ZK login, where you can prove that you have this kind of login ability to certain accounts, but you don't reveal which account you are. I think those two are for me are very essential for privacy feature. And eventually it really depends on social application, what type of data need to be on chain, and how much data they will just be kept off chain. So I think it depends on application choice. This the infra can do, because it's general purpose. You can't just add this as a built-in feature, because that will make all the operation become more expensive.
Yeah, I think my opinion is that 99% of users, they don't give a damn about privacy, or they simply don't understand what that word means. Because if you're looking at, for example, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, users, they are fully aware that their photos, their text are being collected, harvested, and used as foundation for targeted marketing towards themselves. But did they leave? Most of them didn't. And also when it comes to Web3 social, it is true everything is open, it's transparent, but you can easily create another wallet to do different stuff, right? So I think nobody is dumb enough in the world of Web3 using their main wallet to log into social platforms. There's an easy solution, just create another wallet. But again, open access to social data, social activities is very important for the ecosystem itself, because we need enough data for developers to build good applications to attract enough users to continue contributing quality data. So it's a flywheel. And I think adding privacy features at this stage is not the most important things. It's not the most important thing we should be focusing on.
Manta started from privacy back in 2020, and actually before Manta, the idea I worked with those two co-founders are actually put everyone's single biometric data into Ethereum address. So there's a project right now working on it called Workpoint, and they do really successful, good for them, but I don't think we can make that. I think right now we definitely not working on privacy as the focus, because I want to be safe. I don't want to get trouble on the regulation side. I don't want to build something and then go to jail. So the regulation concern is a huge issue for privacy. But another thing is, compared to privacy, I would rather focus on democracy first, because if there's no democracy, there's no enough rights for everyone. It's not make sense to have privacy. I have to say most of the governance right now is just not make sense. It's just random BS. And recently I talked some really bad stuff about Polkadot, and everyone know their governance system is like a joke. Basically, they don't care builder as well, but at the same time, the governance system is just for money laundering or waste money, and that's how they grow the ecosystem. But in that case, people don't have right. How can you care about privacy, in that kind of case? So I think governance system, decentralized and human rights is the most important stuff. And for Manta, our governance system is learning from Republic China. There's kind of a combine of the kind of the power of foundation, and then the democracy of the all of these kind of different voting system. So let's see how that works.
already, because like I asked this question because not just because of like I'm interested, but also like Mask is started from privacy. We want to like give privacy and data ownership, but like identity ownership back to the users. But, well, it seems like according to our consensus, no one cares about it for sure.
It's still very important. It's just not a priority.
Yeah, it's important, but I mean like users. When talking about like, privacy, no one cares about it. They always say they care about privacy, but when they need to like, when you bring them like another level of complications to the product, they just like give up instantly.
There was a very famous study on privacy regarding your photos on Facebook. So I think roughly 3,000 users, Facebook users were surveyed, and there was one question: do you know that all the photos you posted on Facebook, they do not belong to you? And most of them say no, they think those photos belong to them. But in fact, it's very clearly written in Facebook's terms and conditions that anything you post on Facebook, they no longer belong to you. So that reflects that most of the users, they don't really care about their own privacy.
Too.
And
Not just
all I would say, maybe they don't understand what that word privacy means to them.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. Not just your photos, don't belong to you anymore. Your account, it's not yours. It's just like they allow you to use your account.
You are just like data generator.
Exactly. Okay, so I guess like I need to like run to the final question. It's regarding decentralization, and I think we don't. Well, we care about decentralization because like in the product design of Mask or Maskbook, we have like 3 principles. One, we don't rely on any like third-party APIs. We don't rely on any centralized servers. And third is like we don't leak any information to any third parties, and not even that to us. So this is our principle, and then we really want to push this like principle of a decentralization or like permissionless back to the users. And what do you think, guys? Think about like if think about it, and then what do you do to like maybe like push your network to be more decentralized in the future, or is it like your maybe like long-term focus?
I mean, I feel like first, like you need to survive in that space. That's the most important. There's like 100 layer 2 right now, and there's 100 coming soon. So like not everyone can survive, definitely 100%. But definitely, I think the next goal is how to improve and get better. And this is not only like can rely on us. Like I said, we have the governance system. We have like recently we launched the foundation grant, which is 50 million, and we will use the way I think like the Taiwan already proved, and which works right now, and probably the most democratic country in Asia, and let's see how that works in crypto.
Yeah, decentralization sounds amazing. It has promised a lot of like beautiful things to us, like data interoperability, but that isn't really happening right now. And also we have been focusing on gaining more users. We have been attracting developers, but we are ignoring the content creators. So for instance, I'm not talking about Web3 in general, but it's like the whole internet in general. If you're an engineer, you're most likely familiar with Stack Overflow, and if not, you must be familiar with Reddit. But they can just sell your data to anyone, to any bidders, for exchange for undisclosed amount of money. But none of that money, not even a single cent, is coming back to you. So you as the content creator, contributors, you are not getting anything. But when it comes to blockchain, because everything is transparent and verifiable, it has made or enabled the possibility of an ownership economy, which was first proposed by Aaron Schwartz the very original contributor of RSS protocol, and ironically, he was one of the founders of Reddit. And so using Web3 technologies, we can now actually build a fair and transparent, let's call it a reward mechanism to build ownership economy, and that ensures everyone is paid fairly and in a transparent manner. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, like decentralization definitely matters, but similar to privacy, like everyone wants decentralization, but they also don't want any sacrifice in their user experience. So on our roadmap, like there are 3 parts to decentralize. One is on the approver side, where you don't want like we to be the only approver, because one day, like if we go down for liveness reason, for other security reason, like you want decentralized approver, you want to kind of have anyone have the ability to still keep the Scroll network running. So that's one part. And second part is on the sequencer part, where it's actually not for it's not the typical decentralization compared with layer 1, because at the layer 2 you already inherit all the security guarantee from layer 1, because even if we are censoring you, you can send your transaction to layer 1 and then force us to include your transaction. So as far as you are not really looking for real-time censorship, you don't see like the level of like centralization, like decentralization, like layer 2 can provide you is enough, because for not like especially like money crucial, time crucial transaction, as far as you can go through in some way, in some gateway from day 1, it should be fine. But for some really crucial transaction, which you don't want to be sandwiched, and they need real-time censorship efficiency, and then you need decentralization on the sequencer side. So that's why that's our next step for decentralized sequencer. And eventually, another thing is more on the kind of decentralized governance side, where you don't want like Scroll one day to kind of upgrade to a weird virtual machine or weird version. So you want some more decentralized governance to kind of vote for before every upgrade. Right now, even like we don't have that public, we are already following this upgrade following like 7 days log, 14 days log before any upgrade can happen. So the decentralization of the governance part is also very important. And maybe just one last piece is that I think if you compare Ethereum decentralization, people like that, not just because of the node they really like that many, because with builder, PBS and builder centralization, all those stuff, it's actually still several nodes controlling the majority of who produce a block. But I think what's really powerful of Ethereum is social consensus, where people how many people are involved in this kind of Ethereum, update how many people actually care about Ethereum, and how large distribution Ethereum actually has, and how you build a decentralized culture among this kind of globally, not just for example, most layer 2 are right now very Western centric, their builders and people who build them are very, so you need to have a very diverse cultural background to kind of build a diverse culture, and that's also very important in terms of innovation.
I think thank you so much for speaking. I mean, I learned a lot, and I really want to talk more, but I think our time is up. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for listening. And I think it's going to be the end of the panel. Thank you.
Yeah.